Hello everyone. We are here to start a new journey together, and this journey comprises of mainly focusing on cricket. The idea would be that me, hi, I'm Yatish Jain.
I'm Shanky Aneja.
We will be talking to each other about cricket, global cricket, hopefully, maybe focusing a little bit more on national level cricket,
Indian cricket.
Indian cricket,
Indian cricket.
Australian cricket,
Okay. Yeah, that's
and
fine.
but probably not so much on franchise cricket. Uh, yeah. So that's how the idea of this podcast is, just to probably opinionated people talking about cricket.
And criticizing cricketers.
Criticizing cricketers with no cricketing background on their own, but that's how critics works, I guess. But we hope to bring some new opinions with a different landscape, hopefully. But with that, let's start with the first one here. So before the recently concluded series, like the India versus England of Test cricket, everybody in the world was saying, is Test cricket dead? Test cricket is dying. Is there something we can do? Only the three beasts, which is true, which is somewhat true, the three beasts of Test cricket, that is the India, England, and Australia, are the countries that are interested in playing Test cricket, or which is very, very surprising because the Test World Champions are South Africa, right? So, and this time around, and then New Zealand comes into picture because they were the first winner of World Test Championship, right? And you remember, I don't know, New Zealand celebrated World Test Championship match like crazy, and similarly, South Africa celebrated that match like crazy. So, can people still say that Test cricket is dying, or is it dead?
Not really. I wouldn't really say Test cricket is dying or is dead. Evidently, for the last series, 5 Test matches, which can maximum go for 25 days. Every single Test match lasted to the last day, and even at the beginning of the last day, you are not sure that what's going to be the result. Majority of the Test matches were concluded in the last session, and that itself tells you that there is a spark with the Test cricket that still remains. But at the same time, I would definitely say that there is some change required. There is some change in terms of some sort of format required, because 5 days is a very long format. I can't recall any other sport which goes 5 days for one particular match.
But you brought up a very interesting point, right? Only this series was, I don't know, in the history, I think 30 years go back, if you go back, all 5 Test matches going to 5 days was very rare, right? One of the reasons for that to happen was absolutely docile pitches, right? Batsmen can bat long, and bowlers will just tire themselves out like crazy. Is that the way to play cricket? Cricket has always been batsman dominated.
I was gonna say that, yes.
Yeah.
So-
Would you agree with that?
I think so. I do agree with that on somehow. Even like if you see the South Asian, like growing up in India, were you ever crazy about bowling? I'm not sure about you, but I was never.
I was a
like,
bowler, so
yeah, well, maybe you were the bowler. I was like, our team, or I want to the bat first. Everybody was like, no matter what the pitch is, no matter where you're playing, it's like you want the toss, you're gonna bat first, and that's what you're gonna choose, because everybody was so crazy about batting, and even if you're playing, if there was a limited over game, people would be like, "Meri batting nahi aayi. Where is my batting? I came here to bat. I'm not here to field or bowl." So that's the reason I feel that cricket has mainly been a batsman's game, and bowlers are maybe in a supporting role, to be very honest. But that was changing in the last few years, to be very honest. When you see the Test crickets, barring the last series because of the pitches, as you rightly mentioned, I could never see, even including including the current WTC Championship final, including the West Indies versus Australia series, including any of the other series before that, the test matches were getting over within like 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And that was clearly because of the bowlers.
But is that bad? In my opinion, it is not bad, because if you are I completely agree with your first point, right? Growing up, I was like that also. Even though I was a bowler, I still wanted to bat. It doesn't matter. I'm bowling. I bowled my 4 overs. I bowled my 6 overs. I still want to bat, right? That was growing up. But now that I have matured. I like watching bowling because with bowling comes the strategy, right? And I watch Test cricket for strategy, right? Because the bowler will set the batsman up to get his wicket, right? That is why I watch Test cricket. And on a feisty pitch, right, as you rightly mentioned, South Africa West Indies versus Australia series, right? They were over so quickly because the pitches were so bowling friendly.
Yes.
Is it fair, right? There always should be a balance, right? In my opinion, because the other side of it is England versus Pakistan series. If you remember, most of them ended up being draw, right? Because they were such a batting friendly pitches that bowlers just could not take 20 wickets, right? And then, in my opinion, worst thing that can happen to Test cricket is a draw. Because at the end of 5 days you feel like why you wasted 5 days.
One thing for sure is test is, as the name suggests, it is the ultimate test, and that tests your character, that tests your strategy, that tests your mindset on how long you can sustain something in a game. And that shows a true character. But in terms of entertainment, let me take you back to the 2020 World Cup, T20 World Cup in USA and West Indies. What would you have preferred? Where obviously the bowling pitches, a team scoring 120 in 20 overs. Would you have wanted 180 or 190?
That's the difference, and that's why I'm saying I would want in T20 I would want batting friendly pitches.
Exactly, and that's where the natural psyche comes in. That cricket has been more of a batter's game.
Very true. What a good point.
Yeah, because
amazing point.
I wasn't happy seeing India playing against USA. India
No
playing
scoring
against
T20 matches is
Pakistan,
shit.
and that's 120 at max. That's bullshit.
Yep, I agree.
And similarly, now comes a test matches. To be very honest, somewhere deep inside me, I'm not satisfied. Or I'm not happy seeing test match teams getting all out at 250, 236, to 235 or 220s. That's something that shows that bowling was getting more dominant, to be very honest, and that is negative on the economic side as well. Now, a person, like the broadcaster who has actually bought the rights for 5 days, the match is getting over in 2 days. A stadium like the host who has sold the tickets for 5 days, the last 2 days he has to refund the tickets.
But think about it. So there is another angle to it, right? Are we losing a skill in some way because of T20, because of other things? Like, for example, players like Rahul Dravid, players like Pujara, and they can't are we losing the patience of fighting it out, right? Because even when the bowling pitches are bowling friendly, after 30 overs, the ball will become old, right? And the batting would become easy, right? So there was a skill set in certain old players, in the past players, when T20 was not there. They knew how to blunt it out, or they knew how to face that tough period that was test.
Absolutely.
Are we losing that skill in some way?
Yes, I think so. The reason is I would probably blame it entirely to T20, because you see the players who are coming today, they grew up in the 2020 era, T20 era. Like they were born in either late 1990s or early 2000s. They're barely like 25, 30 years old. Even if they're 30, they were born in 1995. That's like, and they have, for majority of their age, they've actually watched T20 World Cups, T20 games, and who wouldn't like that? Like, you compare the cricket game, the game of cricket, with any other games in the world. Cricket is one of the longest formats. Even the shortest cricket format is significantly longer to any other game. You take example of FIFA or hockey, 90-minute game. Maximum, it will take 2 hours to finish that game. Cricket is almost double the shortest format.
And I know cricket is not Indian sport, but the true analogy is Hollywood films versus Bollywood films, right? Because Bollywood films are 3 hours long and Hollywood films are 90 minutes long.
So in this, when the entertainment, like obviously sports, leave the sportsman out, leave the staff out, leave the staff in, like out. If you look at from an entertainment perspective, would a person have the time in today's world to spend 5 days watching a particular game?
I agree. Nope. Well, again, okay, so that brings us to the next segment of the podcast here. You briefly mentioned there should be some change. There has been a big change that is in the conversation. Most of them is in theory. There is no practical approach to it. I don't know if this is being considered seriously or not. But what is your opinion about this two-tier system where the teams? I mean, it's more of a revamping of the WTC rather than the test format itself, uh, which is interesting. Two-tier system. So it's not changing anything in the format. If you would like, do you have any ideas if you want to propose a format?
I would like you to enlighten me more on that, the two-tier format.
Yes, so two-tier format.
I think I remember that. Keeping the best set of teams in one.
Yep. So not even best. You can't say best because that would be politically incorrect, right? So two-tier system would be 6 teams in one tier, 6 teams in one tier, other tier, and then so tier A would be fighting for WTC championship mace. Tier 2 finals would be fighting for getting to tier 1 or tier A, right? And the idea would be that these teams will have their separate scoring, the tiered scoring basically, for WTC, and then you win the mace. So what is the benefit of it
From my point of view, the benefit that I can see is going to be for the 6 countries. Those are in the top tier, and on the other side, it is very sad to say, but cricket will eventually die. I personally feel just a food for thought in the other 6 countries, because they would probably see that the victory is not going to give them any World Cup or any championship. It's the victory is going to be like putting them in a list of league, like list of elite, what is it? Elites, list of elites. So I believe that's not a very big benefit.
See this from the point of view of Italy, for example. Italy recently qualified for LA T20 Olympics basically, right? It was a big, huge deal for them, right? Because Italy was nowhere in cricket. That will not be the same for Pakistan or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, who would be in the second tier, right? For them to come to tier A would not be that satisfactory as it was for Italy. So I do completely agree with your point.
No.
It will die for those.
I'll say one more thing. Now, if you keep the weak teams playing against the weak teams, will they improve? Ever improve? No, they won't. Now, imagine 2 situations, like considering 2-tier situations. If you have Italy playing against Namibia and Italy won, will they celebrate enough? They will be okay, oh yeah, we won. But imagine if you have Italy playing against Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or even India, and even if it is a fluke, they won the game. How big would a celebration be? Just like Afghanistan in its early days.
But the reverse is also true, right? Because that is what is happening. And I'm not saying it is unfair, but there are scheduled matches where India is playing Zimbabwe, for example. No offense to Zimbabwe at all, they are a very budding team. Again, they have a very rich cricketing history. They were at one time amazing team, nobody could beat them. Andy Flower, Grant Flower, and a lot of amazing players. So India playing Zimbabwe, to me, these are, even if they play 2 test matches, these are the easy test match points that India got for towards WTC. So I see your point that it is good for Zimbabwe, but is it fair to the teams fighting to be on the top of the table?
You can probably give an example of South Africa in this one.
That's what everybody was saying, but South Africa proved them wrong by beating Australia.
Yeah, and to be very honest, like with time, although even the new cricketers, they say that they want to play test cricket more and they test them, but let's be real, like test cricket in terms of spectatorship, like people follow it and people enjoy it because it really truly tests it, but it is a big cost to actually continue the momentum and continue the interest in that. Is the cost like giving enough returns? I wouldn't say so. Now consider a broadcaster, or consider from an economics perspective. You invest certain amount of money in a T20 game, you get the results. you have to invest significantly more in Test cricket, and you might get less results, less sort of income, less sort of economy in there. So that's why I feel that more, even if the players want to play it, it's more to from the broadcaster side. You remember a game where it was, I think, Australia versus South Africa, and the game had to be shortened because of the DLS. At one place, South Africa wanted roughly 19 runs from 11 balls or something, and then due to the broadcaster issue, it was just one ball in 17 or 19 runs. It was a shame. I think it was a World Cup game back in 1999 semi-final or something. I don't remember it, but that's what it is happening in today's world as well, I feel.
So I don't think there is much that can happen. And to close it off, I completely agree with you. Even the two-tier system might actually be a big failure, because ultimately the reward of that outweigh, like the reward is not enough to reap better benefits, right, or to increase the viewership, or to I don't think that will happen. It will just eliminate a lot more test cricket members from the championship, than to actually get better viewership out of it. So
While you were saying this, I actually remember something. The test status is usually like treated as a privileged one.
yes,
I feel to save the test cricket, they have to make it more privileged. Like instead of bringing it like you win a certain number of matches, or you maintain these kind of things, you will be entering into the test club. Instead of that, I feel that it should be more like you have to work a lot harder to be in the test status, and reduce the test playing nations from, like, let's say 9, 10 to 6. The best 6 teams will only be allowed to play test cricket. Because let's take an example, a country in let's take West Indies, dying cricket country at the moment, unfortunately, which has won the initial 2 World Cups. West Indies, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe. Would the localites of these countries, even if the match is in their home ground, would they want to come to watch a 5-day game, or would they prefer to watch a 3.5-hour game?
yep.
And eventually, when they succeed more in 3.5 hours, they will want to come for more. They will be more likely to turn to watch a 1-day game rather than a 5-day game. So I feel that to save Test cricket, it should be made more elite. That it's the Test status should become more like you have to have certain rankings and certain ratings to actually be a Test nation.
So you are saying instead of 2-tier, you are
Exactly.
just reducing the tier altogether.
Exactly.
Just tier B out of the system,
And tier 1, tier 1
earn your status by
playing
doing
ODIs, or playing, or be one of the best ratings, or like playing good cricket in the other formats.
But how will you take away the 6 teams then? Because the top 6 teams are already doing that.
That's where the fun will come in, because if they want to actually have the Test nation, they have to prove, and they have to beat the top 6 teams.
It's an interesting outlook, right? Because you are saying to earn your status in Test cricket, you have to play better T20 and 1-day.
Yes.
That's a very new proposition. I don't think anybody has even thought about that.
I'm pretty sure there are very much brighter minds who would have thought about this one.
So interesting. Okay. Well, on that interesting note, this is a perfect time to close out this thing. Well, there you go. This is the podcast where you first saw a completely new, innovative approach to save Test cricket.
Just to make it more elite.
Just make it more elite and decide the Test cricket status by playing better T20 and better ODI, and maybe then you can earn that Test system. All right. With that, Shanky and Yatish signing off. Thank you. See you next time.